Hello, here we are in the studio. We're in our test kitchen here at Second Soul Studios, and Keely is going to show us how to make creme brulee.
Yes.
Very excited for this. My husband's going to be so jealous because it's his favorite dessert.
Well, I hope I live up to the standard. But I'm Keely Werly. I'm the owner of the Traveling Tap, which is a mobile bar and service event rental company here in Clearwater, Florida. And I'm here today to walk us through making creme brulee because we are starting a sister company called Brûlée Olé, which will be a mobile creme brulee cart. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So what's important to know about creme brulee is it's a lot to do with timing. So I like to kind of get as many things ready to go as possible. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to measure out our heavy whipping cream. We're not going to turn it on yet. We're just going to measure it out and get it in the pan.
Okay. I hear this is a very difficult dessert to make.
I think some things are difficult, yes. Like I said, the timing is what's key because you have a lot of things going on that have to be done at certain times. You also have to make sure, like, it can also be a very finicky dessert. So if your cream is overheated, if you add it in too quickly, which you'll see in a moment, it can have some negative effects. There's a lot that could go wrong, but I'm here to kind of show you like a really simplistic way to do it and get it done. So I have the cream just kind of sitting and waiting because the longest part of your creme brulee is actually your eggs. So if you want to help with this part, my kids are usually in the kitchen. They always want to do this part. We need 4 egg yolks, basically. So if you want to do 2 and I do 2, that would make things go way faster.
Trying to make a big mess. Go.
So we're actually gonna take the yolk and put it in here.
Ooh.
I should have told you this was my dump.
All right.
My dump bowl.
And I'm like the world's sloppiest cook.
That's okay, me too. Like I look at these people that make dishes and their kitchen and I throw them in there.
Okay.
And their kitchens are always like still flawless after making a meal. And I'm like, how do you do that? So I'm glad that you are a messy cook as well because I'm going to just,
Basically, call me the tornado.
Well.
Or Tasmanian devil, even worse in the kitchen.
Okay, so this is our last egg. And the recipes for,
So it's a yolk only.
And I just kind of made a mess of that one.
Napkins?
Yeah. The recipes do vary for creme brulee. Some recipes will call for a full egg in there. This is just the recipe that I like. It's what I prefer.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're gonna add 1/3 sugar.
Okay. 1/3 sugar. I like your cute little hearts.
Right, my hearts.
I'm gonna get some of those.
And then we're gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. If I was doing this at home, and if I had more time, I would actually do like a stick of vanilla in the cream. But for today's sake, we're gonna do just vanilla extract. And I'm kind of heavy-handed, so I let it kind of spill over and then dump it in. So I do just a tiny bit more than a teaspoon, if we're being honest. All right, so we're gonna actually whip this together. And while we're whipping this, or whisking, I should say, we're gonna actually turn on our heavy cream. There we go.
I turned it on.
So the one thing we have to watch is with that heavy cream is we don't want to scald it and we don't want to curdle it.
So how long do you let it cook for then?
So what I do is I start watching until I see like steam.
Okay.
And if you want to use that little spatula right there, I tend to
Stir it a little bit.
Stir it a little bit just to make sure it's not like getting, you know. And then over here, I'm just whisking until everything is mixed together really well.
Okay. So, do you have a non-fat version of this?
No. But I do small servings, so as long as you just do one, you should be okay.
So it's all about the cream that makes it.
Right? Creme brulee is just basically custard, but through the cooking process and then putting it in the fridge, it hardens it up, so you get this really kind of nice, like firm custard. So it's not creamy or smooth in the sense that like it looks like pudding, but it's a little bit firmer of a dessert. So we're just waiting for that induction to kind of happen. And this is where people get kind of like, this is where mistakes happen. So basically when you're mixing that cream into this bowl, we have to do it slowly. Otherwise, it's gonna curdle the eggs in here.
So do you pour it in real slow, or do you just do a little bit at a time?
I do a little bit at a time. And so I also kind of do like a folding method with the spatula. I used to make my creme brulee with the whisk. I used to whisk in the cream, but then I learned from a French bakist. What would be the term for that? A French baker?
French baker? A pastry chef?
A pastry chef,
Yes.
there we go. To use the spatula because it will take away some of the bubbles. And if you've ever seen creme brulee before they caramelize it, it's very smooth on top with very minimal bubbles in it. So I started switching and using the spatula when adding in the cream.
Okay, that's good advice.
So, and then the other thing that I usually do, because remember this is all a timing thing,
Right.
is once that cream is near boiling, I will go over and turn on my kettle because we're going to have to put these creme brulees in a water bath. So if you don't know what a water bath is,
I do not know what a water bath is.
so we have our creme brulee here, right? For it to be custard, we have to set these in water and put them in the oven. It's kind of the same thing you would do with cheesecake. So in order for
You put
that,
water in the pan?
we put water in the pan.
Okay.
Yes. So in order for that to work, we have to use hot water. So I always start my kettle about this time to get the water heating up. So when I'm done mixing the two ingredients and pouring it in the bowls, I can pour that hot water in there.
Okay.
All right, so once I see the cream kind of steam a little bit, I know it's ready to go. I don't want to overcook it because I don't want it to curdle. So from this part, this is where you don't want to just dump it in. You have to go slowly. And it should start dissolving like that sugar you have in there. And then I kind of do like this, kind of swirl and fold, just to make sure everything's getting dissolved. And try to get it off the edges too, because there's a lot of sugar that kind of builds up over there on the edges. But we want it to be really well mixed.
Is creme brulee something that you want to eat right away for the best
So-
flavor?
That's the other hard part. You have to wait. It has to be in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Even better if you can wait a day. However, you don't want to wait more than 2 days. So after 2 days, you do have to throw the creme brulee out. But it does have to go in the fridge for 2 hours.
Oh, so I was thinking when we ordered at French restaurants that they needed time to prepare it. I wonder why that was. I'll have to ask.
Yeah, at least for me, I do put it in the fridge. And a lot of people are like, oh, but I thought it came warmed. Once we start caramelizing it, it will warm up.
Oh, okay.
But for it to really set and get its texture, it has to go in the fridge. And then as we, get towards the end of the pan, I do put a little bit more in each time because we're really not going to curdle any eggs at this point.
So for your events that you go to, how many batches of this do you normally make?
I have only done small events so far. So the largest batch I've done has been 35 creme brulees. I will say that my cart can hold up to 250.
Oh, wow.
So we can do a lot. And I have people that help me. So we wouldn't be doing just like, if we were doing this for a huge event, of course the portions would be more and we would be cooking more at once and we'd have a whole, operation going.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna pour the rest in, make sure it's all mixed together. All right, so if your water isn't boiling by this point, like you haven't turned it on, now would be the time to turn on your kettle, turn it on high, because we're gonna need to put these into a water bath. So while I'm waiting for my water to finish heating up, I go through and I pour into each ramekin. And I kind of use this from my bartending days. I count to 3.
Because I have to count.
Right? Because I want them to be even. So,
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3. And then 3.
Learn how to make the perfect shot without having to use a shot
Right?
glass.
All right, and then I'll kind of go through and put a little bit more. We don't want to fill them all the way to the top because like I said, when we go to caramelize them, we do want some of that heat from the torch to heat up the custard so it's a little bit more warm. And we do want to make sure they're all even so they cook evenly. So after that, we're ready to add our water. If you spill in the pan, it's not a big deal. What we don't want is get on the side of the ramekins.
Right.
But we can always fix that. So we're gonna put them in a water bath. And you usually wanna put this about 1/2 inch. If you go a little over 1/2 inch, it's not gonna ruin your creme brulee. I tend to be paranoid, so I probably fill it up more than I have to. But you just want to make sure that they're sitting in a water bath. If you don't put them in the water bath, you're not going to have custard. You're going to have something completely different. So after you get to this point, you're going to put them in the oven, and then we're going to bring them back out.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, very little ingredients.
Yeah, really
Who knew?
simple. Like I said, it's all about timing. All right, so after we've waited the 2 hours that they've been in the fridge, this is everybody's favorite part. This is when my kids come running in because
No, I'm excited.
this is what they want to do. Okay, so you're gonna take a little bit of sugar
Okay.
and we're basically going to sprinkle it on the top.
Okay.
So it doesn't take a lot, but then again, it feels like it does because you want to make sure you get it all coated across the entire top of the creme brulee. If you do too much sugar, then it's going to be a really hard shell on the top. I like that. My husband, he likes a really thin shell. All right, so after the sugar's on, you're going to basically caramelize the sugar. And you can start to see it. It's just I like the smell of the burnt sugar.
Oh, it's fun. Look at that. You see it bubbling nicely.
I also kind of like mine really burnt. So
Yeah, I like everything burnt.
yeah, like kind of like a marshmallow. So, and then I'm gonna see if I can get these sides a little bit more over here. If you don't get every corner of it, I mean, not a big deal. It is to preference. And then basically, if I was doing this for a party, I would kind of decorate it, make it look a little bit more dressed up. So I would add some strawberries and some blueberries. And you can do like whipped cream on top. You can do raspberries. You can do chocolate shavings. It's essentially whatever you like can be as the topping. And like I said, with Brûlée au lait, we're kind of doing more of an Americanized version of creme brulee. So we do some toppings on top of ours. And then once you've given it time to set a little bit, you can crack the top and enjoy.
Ooh. How long does it need to settle?
It should be ready to go.
Right now?
It's a pretty quick process.
Ooh, look at that. That looks so good. Try a bite. That is delicious.
Thank you.
Wow. Very awesome. I think you got something here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes. Yes, I can't wait to go to one of your events and get some more. It's awesome. So be sure to go to the show notes, and we'll have all Keely's information. If you want to rent out one of her bar carts, want to have this beautiful, delicious creme brulee at your party, you can hire her company to come and do all these things for you. Her website will be there. You can find her on social media. And where else can they?
I mean, really,
else?
Instagram. We're all over Instagram, TikTok, and then our website is really the best way to get a hold of us.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for showing me how to make creme brulee. This was fabulous experience.
Yes, no
I really
problem.
enjoyed it so much, and thanks for being on Learning Curves.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining our show. Tune in next week. Thanks a lot and have a great day. At CEA Marketing, we take your business, your passion, and your why, and we sell it. If you're unsure where to start marketing your company, CEA Marketing is here to help. Our team at CEA has tons of experience and top-notch training, which helps you take all the stress and confusion out of marketing your own business. After years of working with large companies like Pulte Homes and Metro Places, we guarantee the successful implementation of a marketing strategy.